Hi, Peter Charles here, folks for Life Fly Fishing. And today we're going to tie a very simple pattern called Kennebec. And if you've heard that name before, it's because it's a river in Maine. Now, I've not fished the Kennebec myself, but I have fished the rapid. And I'm used to fishing that type of water for landlocked Atlantic salmon and also for brook trout. And they're a lot of fun. However, some of the water you fish over can be quite snag-filled, and you can lose a lot of flies. So it sometimes pays to have a very simple pattern in your arsenal that you can knock off very quickly. So when you lose a bunch, you're not, sweating it. I mean, if I put 20 minutes into a fly and then lost it on the first cast, I'd be just a tad annoyed. But with these, I wouldn't care. So we're going to do a speed technique, and it's not going to be the prettiest fly, but it's going to catch fish. I'm also going to do a color scheme that I don't think I've done before in the Streamer series, and that's green over white. The Kennebec can be done in a variety of colors. It's really a generic pattern, and you supply the colors you like. So there's, like red over yellow, black over white, brown over white, those sorts of color schemes. Very simple. So let's get going and take a look at the materials. We've got a streamer hook here in a size 4, 2 extra heavy, 5 extra long. Our thread is black A-dot Vivus. We've got our body of Uni Mylar in a large size, and it's the gold silver. We'll be using the silver side. The underwing is white bucktail, and the overwing is Kelly green bucktail. So let's get going. Now we're going to start just with a few turns, and I'm going to start my mylar right here, which may seem a little odd, but you'll see why I'm doing it. And then I'm just going to hold it up in an angle and just skid my thread back. Go stop at the hook point, then we come forward. Now for a neatness standpoint, I've tried to make a smooth body. But the reality is, if we were doing this really quickly and we just want to knock off, I'd just go prut, prut, and I'd end up with a lot of ridges in my thread. So when I wrapped over the mylar, it would dig in, and it would create ripples in the mylar. I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing from a fishing perspective. That will create facets which will catch the light and reflect on a sunny day. So this actually might be a superior way of tying it from a fish catching perspective. Also, it's going to create a little bit of tiny bit of turbulence, and fish can feel that stuff. So adding, being sloppy with your wraps and creating all these ridges in your mylar, not necessarily a bad thing. Anyway, this one was neat because I'm shooting a video, so I want it to be neat. So hold your mylar nice and tight, come forward, and try not to show any black. Now for the white, we just use a little bit, and we're not going to stack it. We're going to put it in just ragged ends. This is the way the pattern is tied. Get rid of the short stuff. And it's tied longer than the hook by about 50%. Pinch loop it down. Pull tight. Few wraps. Make sure it's on top of the hook. Yep. Wrap forward. Wrap back, and when you get to the back, just a few soft turns. Now for the green. I'll put this the length of the white. Now I'm just going to pull it back a little bit, not right at the front. And that helps to create a slope on the head. Now for some head cement. There we have a Kennebec. Now, I just want to show you a couple of things I did here. I will call it deliberately sloppy. And there's a fishing benefit for that. You notice how my green kind of slid into the white there, and I just kind of wrapping stuff on. That you'll get that effect when you go quickly. But the neat thing about doing that is you get this blended color between the green and the white. The green sort of flows into white as opposed to having a sharp line. And I think that actually ends up producing a fly that's a bit more fishable. The other thing you'll notice, it's sort of around the body, because what's going to happen with this hook when you fish it, it's going to tend to separate from the wing a little bit because of the weight of the gape of the hook, especially with a down eye hook that's even worse. So when you start to fish it, the water pressure will push that wing away from the body, but keep it generally close because I've forced it around the body to a certain extent. This is a problem with streamer hooks and wings. If you pop them up at a bit of an angle, you will get that wing sort of resting kind of flat in the water, but the hook is hanging way down here. And there's a big separation between the point of the hook and the wing. What I've done here is cause the wing to lay flat against the body, almost around the body. You will end up with a fly where the wing and the hook stay closer together, even though there will be some sag. So that silver, which is not visible now, will become visible when it's in the water and you're swinging it or stripping it, because there will be some separation between the wing and the hook. So this is just a little construction thing that I do, especially when I'm putting together flies very quickly. I do those soft wraps at the back of the head, which scrunches things down, wraps the head around the body. The other thing I did to cause that is I ran my mylar right up to the eye of the hook. So as a consequence, my bucktail is tied right on top of the mylar, so there's no lump where it hits the mylar then kicks up. The whole thing is laying on mylar, so that enables me to get that wing to lay really, really flat. So from a fly tying perspective, this is an ugly fly, but from a fishing perspective, this one will probably do better than a pretty fly. So give the Kennebec a try. It's a nice, simple streamer. You can knock them off real fast. And if you're going to be fishing snaggy water, that's what you want in the way of a fly. Cheers.